the goddess Venus was at a party. She was at a party in heaven, and she looked absolutely amazing. I told you before, she was really, really gorgeous. But she was wearing the most sexy outfit ever. She had a goody on, there was a split up there to the thigh, and she had one breast exposed, she had the greatest hair in the road. Buttons were falling off her clothes everywhere, the tip was out, the hip was out, she was bringing tears, she was bringing wine, decay, everything was a great time. She was dancing away, everybody was dancing, she had the jukebox out, everything was fantastic. And then she felt something had gone wrong. And she stopped dancing. And the minute Venus stopped dancing, everybody stopped dancing. And she turned, and she left the party, and she made her way back to her palace. And there stood Cupid, her son. And she knew right away what he'd done. And he looked at her and he said, Mommy, son, how dare you? I sent you down there to punish Psyche, not to impregnate her. And she grabbed a hold of his ear and she dragged him into his room and she threw him into his room and said, you'll stay in there until I can find them a way to punish you. And poor Cupid went into the room and he lay there. And Venus put out the word to the whole cosmos and to the earth. Whoever could get her Psyche and bring her back, she would reward them with a kiss from her lips, the lips of a goddess, and maybe she would even include a bit of tongue. So of course, hunters from everywhere were started chasing after poor Psyche. But Psyche herself had already decided she was going to throw herself by the mercy of Venus. She then killed her sisters, lost her husband, what else more could she do? And so she went to one of Venus's temples and she threw herself prostrate to the ground and she said, Venus, I'm so sorry. And Venus heard her. And she came down from heaven, and she grabbed a hold of her by the hair and she flew up back up the sky with poor Psyche dangling at the end of the hair, and she took her back to heaven and she threw her on the floor of her palace. And Psyche looked at her and said, Venus, I'm so sorry. I love Cupid so much. And look, I have this child in my belly. You're going to be a granny. What? And she skipped her man. Venus, she said, Venus, don't you understand love? Love. A young man like you, there's more to love than a full belly. You need care and you need sorrow. I can take care, I can take sorrow. Can you, she said. And Venus clicked her fingers and two of her servants came. And she said, this is care, this is sorrow, and I leave them you their tender mercies. And care and sorrow took out sticks, and they beat the shit out of Psyche. They beat her black and blue, and when they'd finished, they started kicking her. And at the end of a full day, poor Psyche lay there, and she was weeping, tears coming out her face, and care and sorrow left, and Venus came back in. And Psyche looked at her, battered and bruised, and she said, Venus, why are you doing this? You're my mother-in-law. I married your son. That was no wedding. There was no proper procedure. There was no witnesses. And that thing in your belly is but a bastard. No relation of mine. Psyche looked at this raging, beautiful, but raging woman and said, Can I not prove to you how much I love your son Cupid? And Venus looked and said, prove to me? Sure. Let me give you a little task. If you do it right, I'll let you see Cupid. And she got bags. She got bags of barley seed and bags of wheat and bags of lentils and all manners of things. And she got them, she poured them on the floor and she mixed them up. She said, Now, Psyche, I'm going away to a party. And I'm going to enjoy myself. And when I get back, I want you to have split every one of those peas seeds back and put them back in the bags that were in. I want the barley's back in the barley bag, the lentils back in the lentil bag. Everything's separated. And with that, Venus turned around and they went party. Well, poor Psyche, she was lying there and she was thinking to herself, I'll never be able to do this task. I'll never be able to do it. And of course, being pregnant and young, she decided to kill herself again. And she was just about to kill herself when a little ant jumped out and said, Psyche, we'll help you. And all the wee ants came and they began to divide up all the seeds and they put them all back in their proper bags. It took all night. But when Venus came back from her party and she was feeling great, she had a really good time dancing and drinking and snorting and God knows what, and she was thinking, that's Psyche, this will show her when she got back, and everything had sorted. She was so angry. Psyche, you didn't do this. It was my son must have helped you. How dare you? She slapped her again. Poor Psyche said, Venus, my mother-in-law, please, why are you doing this? I just want to show you how much I love your son. And Venus looked at her. Love him? How much do you love him? I would do anything. I'd go to hell and back for your son. Would you? Would you go to hell and back for my son? I would. Well then, I'll tell you what. Go to hell. Go down to hell and speak to the Queen there, Persephone. And Persephone has the most beautiful makeup. And I have a very, very funky party tonight. And I need some really nice makeup. And I want Persephone's makeup. You get me Persephone, the Queen of Hell's makeup, and I'll let you see my son. And I'll give you my blessing. And then she went away. Well, Psyche thought to herself, oh my God, this is impossible. She's given this terrible, terrible task. How can you go to hell with your soul and your body intact? What can I do? I'll commit suicide. So she found a high tower in heaven. She said to throw herself off. And she was about to throw herself off when the tower said, stop. Because that's what towers do, fairy tales. Stop, Psyche. I know how you can achieve this task. The entrance to hell is just over there. And just pop down, but make sure you take with you 2 gold coins and 2 oat cakes dipped in honey. And when you get down into the passageway of hell, go all the way down the stairs and you'll come to the river Styx. And when you get to the river Styx, the ferryman over there, give him one of the gold coins, he'll take you into the boat, he'll take you across the river. When you go across the river, eventually you'll come to the entrance proper to hell, and there'll be a huge dog there with 3 heads. Get him one of the oat cakes dipped in honey, he'll eat it and he'll let you through, and then you'll be in the palace of Persephone. And when you come back, do the exact same, give the oat cake to the dog, the coin to the ferryman, you'll get back nice and safe. And Psyche was thinking, this is very handy, this tower telling me all these things, this is lovely. And she went with 2 gold coins, and she got 2 oat cakes dipped in honey, and she went to the entrance to hell. And she made her way down all the stairs, and it got colder and darker and darker and darker. And eventually she saw the river Styx itself, and it was wailing, oh, it's new wailing as well, oh, ghostly sounds, and the wind was going, woo, across the river. And she got to the river, and she was standing there, and a boat came over. And standing in the boat was the ferryman. And he put out his hand, and she put the gold coin in, and he took her in, and he sat on the boat. And the boat started going across the river. And suddenly a hand came out of the sea, the water, and a voice was begging, help me, Psyche, help me. And she looked down, and it was one of her sisters, and suddenly her heart was full of sorrow for all the things that she'd done, and all the war and the fight between them, the killing of her sisters, and she felt terrible pity. But she focused on Cupid. She knew she couldn't look at her sister, she had to just think about her husband, think about the love. So she ignored her sister, and the boat took her to the other bank. And she stepped off the other side, and as she was walking across the other side, looking for the entrance to hell, she saw 3 women. And the 3 women were weaving the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tapestry. And they looked at Psyche and said, Psyche, come help us. And when we're finished, we'll give it to you. It's full of gold thread and silver thread. And Psyche looked at her, and it was so pretty. But she said, no, she remembered the glitter of Cupid's tears when he was flying away. And so she turned away. And she kept walking, and eventually she came to a great gate. And she went up to the gate, suddenly a horrific sound came out, rah! And she turned, and a huge dog the size of this room with 3 big heads came roaring at her with huge teeth, rah! And she remembered, oat cake with honey. Took the oat cake with honey, threw the dog looked, went, ah! Next thing, flipped on its back, and its little legs there, and she tickled its belly. Now, it's very easy to get to hell. It's the getting to heaven is a swirl. Now, she opened the gateway into hell, and there was the palace of Persephone. And she went into the palace of Persephone, and inside it was cold, it was pale, and pillars that looked like bones, and it was all full of the sounds of the dead wailing of the bodies. And she walked, and eventually she came to the throne room, and there she sat, Persephone herself, as beautiful as Venus. And she looked down and said, who are you? A mortal in my palace, a body still attached to your soul. How dare you? And Psyche said, I'm sorry, Your Majesty. I'm sorry, but I've been sent here by your cousin Venus. Venus? What does Venus want? Venus has got a party tonight, and she thinks you're really pretty because you've got really brilliant makeup, and she was wondering if she could have a bit. Persephone looked at her and said, does she? Well, of course, I'm always happy to help my cousin Venus with her party. She put her hand on her chair and took out a little black box. And she handed the black box up to Psyche and said, in this box is a little smidgen of my makeup. Take it to Venus with my blessing. But make sure you never, ever open the box yourself. And of course, Psyche said, of course, thank you. She took the box, she put it in her bag, she left, she got to the gate, big dog came out, she threw the oat cake with a hurry, the dog ate it, went its back, she took its belly, she went down to the Styx River, paid the ferryman, walked back across, and was walking up the steps from hell. And she was almost there, and she was thinking, I have a box. And in the box is makeup, which is so cool, Venus has to ask Persephone for it. She's 16 years old, remember, Psyche, and she's like, it was the best makeup ever. Oh my goodness, I think just try a wee bit of blusher or something, just try a bit. And she managed to hold off, and she got out of hell, and then she was walking, she could see the palace on Venus, she was walking out the countryside, and she thought, I'll just have one little peek, and nobody will ever know. And so she sat herself down, and she got the box, she opened it. The next thing, sleep leapt out, black and terrible sleep coming up, and she fell down in a coma. And there she lay. Now meanwhile, her husband, Cupid, who was still up in his room, he was getting angrier and more full of passion. He wanted to see his wife, and he'd been hearing all these things that had been going on, what his mother had been doing. And so now he spread his wings, and to hell with his mother, he leapt out the room, and he flew, and he looked for Venus, and then he saw her lying in a field with a deathly pallor on her. And he went down to her, and he looked at her, and he saw sleep was on her. And he reached over, and he grabbed sleep, and he pulled it off her, and he shoved sleep back in the box, and he closed the box. And with that, Psyche woke up, and she saw her husband, and her heart filled with happiness, and his heart swelled, and they were weeping and crying, and they touched each other, they were kissing, and their arms were twining. And then Cupid said, hold on, wife. My mother will still get us. She will still destroy us. There's one more thing I have to do. And so they walked until they came to Mount Olympus. And in Mount Olympus lived Jupiter, the king of the gods and goddesses. And Cupid went up, and he called out, Jupiter, king of us all, please help me, I need your favour. And Jupiter came down, and he was massive, and he was dazzling, and poor Psyche was overcome, she had to cover her eyes. Cupid looked at him. Jupiter, will you help me, Jupiter? And Jupiter looked at Cupid and said, is that you, Cupid? It is. And you're wanting help from me? I do, Jupiter, I do. Just let me clarify this. It's yourself, Cupid, the fellow with the bows and arrows, and you've gone around and you're twanging folk down there, the mortals, and there are all sorts of adultery and perversions and God knows what. And there's folk down there, young lasses and matrons and old lads, and they're fornicating with anything, they're fornicating with goats and with bulls, cheese with trees. There was one woman, she threw herself into a fire. When they go back to their husbands, what do they say? They say it was Jupiter incarnate in the form of a goat. Well, do you think I'm going to help you, Cupid? Oh, Jupiter, I'm so sorry, I was trying to folk with my arrows, I'm so sorry, please help me. I have such terrible pain. I've met this woman and I admired her, and you can't understand how I feel when I'm beside her. It's the most beautiful thing, isn't it? It's like the both of us are standing at the edge of a coast, and there's the sea there, there's nothing else, there's a mist, and it's just as if we're alone in the world, and it fills us up, and it's the most amazing thing ever. And then she's torn from me, and she's away from me, it's like there's a knife going through me. Jupiter looked at her and said, is that so, Cupid? Well, now you know what you've been doing with the bows and arrows. Cupid looked at Jupiter and said, I'm so sorry. And Jupiter said, will you stop then? Will you stop trying those bows and arrows everywhere and getting matrons to be fornicated with trees and all sorts? I will, I will. I'll be so careful with my bows and arrows. And Jupiter looked at him and said, I will help you then. But Cupid, don't be too careful. Because there's always a need for a little bit of madness with love. And Cupid agreed, I'll do this. So Jupiter, he called for all the gods and goddesses to come. And of course Venus had to come as well. And he looked at them and he said, gods and goddesses, Cupid here has finally settled down. He's got himself a wife and she's pregnant. And they all looked. And Venus said, but she's immortal, she's immortal. And Jupiter said, is that so? And he called for a bowl of ambrosia, and he handed it over to Psyche, and he said, Psyche, will you drink of this cup? Be careful. And when you drink of this, you will no longer be mortal. You cannot see your mortal friends ever again. You would have to live forever in heaven and have all the pleasures of the gods and the goddesses. Of course I'll drink it, says me Psyche. And she grabs it, she's 16 years old, and she drank it all down. And she was instantly immortal. Well, with that, they were wed in front of all the gods and goddesses. Venus, she was grand now. She thought, well, at least she's immortal. It's not a wee human being. She was grand. They had a great, great, great party. Lots of things happened there. Rude things, disgusting things, things that made the expression grab a granny even more rude. And then all, 9 months later, a little child was born. And the child was called Pleasure. And every one of the gods and goddesses lived on and on